All right, Friday night, different setting. We're all not sitting at home. Koken is with us. It's Cofield. Adam Hill's going to join in, do a little UNLV recap. That'll be a quick part of the late night pod, and we'll probably go a little shorter tonight because the lights will go out here probably in like 40 minutes or so, and it'll be pitch black. So what's up, Dave?
Saw some good basketball tonight. The hockey games weren't very entertaining, but there's always something good to watch.
What'd you like in terms of basketball games?
Some close, exciting finishes, and I went 2-0 on the games I played, so I was happy with that.
What'd you play?
Played the games all run together. Seattle. Played Seattle, and what was the early game I played? I got to look and see what it was.
NBA.
No, NBA. I haven't bet the NBA in 2 years.
Seattle College. When you said Seattle, I thought
Seattle NBA.
I thought NBA.
Old Cofield. Cofield's old.
Oh, Southern Utah. How can I forget that? I'm such a big Todd Simon fan.
Todd Simon killing
He
it
has
up
done.
there.
How does anybody do what he's done at that school in Cedar City? It's amazing. He's got to get a better job.
He will.
I would think after this year.
Any chance you watched the end of UC Riverside?
Yes.
How bad of a shot did they get off? Just because I didn't watch the game, but I had a money line UC Riverside bet. So
Riverside kid missed a layup.
Oh God.
Defense blew. It was a bunny. He blew it.
Yeah, I had Riverside money line, and I didn't watch the game because I was here at the Rebel game, but I just saw that they had a shot at the end, down 2, so I was wondering how good of a shot it was.
No, it was a layup. And then, of course, they foul, and it ends up lands on 4. It's a brutal beat if you had Riverside plus the points.
Yeah.
It was Pullum. Pullum was, I think that's his name. Pullum was the kid. He was wide open.
I'm glad I didn't watch it.
Oh, you'd have been sick.
Wow. Good bet on Seattle, +5, and they won outright.
Yeah, sometimes these COVID things aren't COVID things. Everybody assumed that, well, they haven't played in 2 weeks, must have been a COVID layoff. They hadn't played in 2 weeks because they couldn't get to Texas. So they had full practices for 2 weeks, basically preparing for one team. And it worked out pretty well.
Anyone else play college basketball tonight? Any interesting games? Goddamn, Utah State was up real big on Reno and didn't cover.
It was down to the wire, right?
It went up 75-72, but I think they were up by as much as 20 or 18.
They had a big lead, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, let's
like
see.
The Boise State game yesterday, San Diego. I think Steve actually called that one before the game. Didn't you say San Diego State was going to blow them out and then Boise would come back?
No. I said game 1, San Diego State would boat race them. In game 2, they would be closer. I didn't say in the game they'd blow them out, and then they'd get to overtime, and then they'd wind up blowing them out, which is the weirdest thing ever—a 15-3 overtime.
I was watching the game and I was like, Jesus, Steve said it'd be a blowout in the first half, and then they'd make it close in the second half. I didn't know you meant first game and second game.
I really know my basketball. Very clairvoyant.
Yeah.
Yes. So, Dave, what do you think of the Rebels game tonight?
They are what they are, which is just a middle of the road Pac-12, a Mountain West team, and Fresno's showing some improvement, but they're also just kind of a middle of the road team, but hasn't really been. If you're a UNLV fan, you really can't be pleased with the way the season's going. I mean, not that they were going to be a great team, but I think it's fair to say they've fallen short of expectations to some extent.
Dave, they were preseason 3rd or 4th in the conference from a lot of people. So Marvin Coleman,
have them quite that high, but I thought they would be better than this.
Yeah, I mean, Marvin Coleman going down is one thing. They've underachieved a bit, and again they looked I thought Bryce looked a little bit tired down the stretch, but he came up with a couple of big baskets, and Fresno plays good defense. So Justin Hudson's one of the best defensive coordinators in the country, and he's got a bunch of guys who were like, at guard who were like 6'2" and thick up to 6'6". So they busted Bryce's balls all night with Stroud and the other kid, Jordan Campbell. So Adam, when you saw the review, what do you think they were going to do? There was a 50-50 ball late, and they gave possession to Fresno, and then they reviewed it for like 2 minutes. What do you think?
I couldn't see the play, so
you didn't watch the board?
I didn't. I was trying to finalize some things here,
Yeah.
work wise. So I didn't even get to see the play. So I was just kind of waiting. And usually in that case, when it looks close, because you can, from what I heard from other people talking, there wasn't really anything definitive. So I thought they'd just kind of stick with it. But
The only thing definitive was that Mbake Jong was faced like one way, right? So he's going this way, and the ball went flying that way. Now it was hard to see a hand come in and hit it that way, but
right.
like it defied logic that Mbake facing one side of the court and the ball would go over his head out of bounds that way. So, but it worked out. It worked out. And you're right, there wasn't a definitive look where you could overturn it. So the first call wasn't great, and they can't overturn it.
I thought really interesting stuff from TJ Altenberger in the press conference, with kind of being just really, really transparent about what their thought process was going into the game. For those that were watching the game, like early on, they had all kinds of trouble with Orlando Robinson, who, by the way, how many times have we seen this story of kid gets out of Vegas and destroys UNLV? It happens over and over again. But they had all kinds of trouble with him, and it was like, well, why not just stick Bake on him and kind of play straight up defense? And what Altenberger said was they just didn't think that matchup could go for 40 minutes, that Bake could just shut him down for 40 minutes. So they wanted to kind of mix things up early in the game, and it cost them by falling behind so far. And then when they went to their actual plan on him about 24 minutes into the game, everything turned around. And so right. I think you look at it and say, well, why did they do that the whole game? They just didn't think he'd be able to hold up and be able to shut him down for that long. And Fresno made the adjustments. And I think one of the things was, it was clear that UNLV said, hey, this is a bad 3-point shooting team. Go ahead and try to beat us. But when you have college players, you just let them stand there. Like, they're going to make threes eventually if you're letting them just stand out there and knock them down. And TJ Altenberger is really critical of the off-ball defense and the kind of standing around when you weren't on a ball handler, right. And it cost them a lot. And they turned it around. And amazing how much everyone credited one play in the game, which it's early on, but the first play out of the locker room when UNLV had some momentum going into halftime. You sit for 15 minutes, you come back out, you're talking about, hey, let's keep it going. And Bake, a big guy, gets a steal and a length of the court dunk, which everybody went nuts about. And it really fired things up. Now, fittingly for the last couple of games defensively, UNLV celebrated that dunk and allowed Fresno to get a wide open three on the other end of the floor. But still, I think that really pumped them up, because after that, UNLV was a different team.
That is one of the cool things in Mbake's game. I haven't tracked it all year, but I'm guessing that's the 7th steal near midcourt or behind midcourt that he finished off with a dunk. One time he almost killed himself because he grabbed the rim and did like a somersault. Yeah. But I mean, for a guy at 6'11" to do that 7 times in a season, pick one off, and a lot of it's on the pick switch, defending a pick with a big up top, and he jumps out and steals it. Did you think this was interesting? They did senior night tonight. There were 2 seniors out there. They were the managers, the guys working around the team. And Mbake Jong technically is a senior, and he didn't participate in senior night. So I don't know what that means.
Didn't they announce at the end of the game that senior night for Bake will be Monday?
I didn't hear that. Is that right?
I thought that's what they said.
Well, it'll be Monday. It'll be Wednesday.
Wednesday, yeah, when their next game, which, it's weird because this was supposed to be their last home game.
Right.
But now it's not.
Why are they doing senior nights? And does it mean if your seniors in senior night that they're gone?
I wouldn't think so.
Yeah, I don't know.
Unless Mbake and family need money, I would think Mbake would play college basketball here or somewhere.
Yeah, I would think so. I would. But also, what if they change the rules?
What does that mean?
What if the NCAA is like, yeah, we made a mistake. You don't get your year back.
There's no way. There's no way they're doing that.
It's the NCAA.
No, because coaches they've been so forgiving. Yeah, and coaches are building rosters, thinking that, hey, some of the seniors could be back. You can't do that. And then guys have taken a break, not taken a break, but gone out for the year. Maybe it was an injury they could come back from, and they shut it down, 12, 15 games in. So I don't see that happening.
Agree with everything you just said. I just can't believe the faith you guys have in the NCAA.
I think they'd actually get sued if they did that.
Good. Okay.
Again, no,
I've said that about a lot of things the NCAA has tried to do.
Well, no, they're not going to change the rule. It's actually good. They're, as bad as the organization is, this is actually good for them. Keeps more players in the game.
Oh, for
basketball and football. So, I mean, even the NCAA isn't stupid enough to do that.
For sure. We're also going to have like 1,500 players transfer.
gonna be crazy.
Yeah. Oh, it's gonna be wildly entertaining. I'm keeping track of it in college football already, and I mean it's going to be a record-breaking year for returning starters. I mean, every team in the country is going to have like 15 guys minimum back.
Most teams should have everyone.
So for both Dave and Adam, we'll have Dave start. One of the stories of the week, and I want Dave's take on this since he's in the industry. Dave, what do you think of VGK developing this partnership? I know it got shot to hell today, and Adam can give us the news on that. But what do you think of this partnership with this Mexican tout company partnering with a freaking major league franchise on the Golden Knights?
I would say it's not a particularly good idea to partner with anybody who sells picks, including me. Okay, you're not. See, here's the thing, and this is what I think really irritates me more than anything. And I'm not blaming this on the Golden Knights, but just sports in general. I mean, my entire life until the last couple of years, they have railed against, gambling, terrible, bad. And now you're okay. Now they're encouraging it. They're encouraging it. You hypocritical pieces of shit. Anything for fucking money. Anything. And that's what bothers me. Okay? It's not so much that they partnered up with. It is absolutely a clear. It's not. It's more than an endorsement of gambling. It's an encouragement of gambling. Now, that's good for me in my business. Listen. The more they encourage it, the more money I make. Quite frankly, so from a selfish motive, I'm fine with all this. But the liars. I mean, do they think we're all stupid that we didn't know for how many years, for decade after decade?
Yep.
We can't have gambling. It's terrible. It'll corrupt the kids. You piece of... they're just such
Dave,
assholes.
There's one guy in the country that I know of who said repeatedly back to like 2005, 8, 10, and probably before that, who said when the NFL can make money on this and they're juiced in, they will be fine with it. And it's Dave Koken.
Me.
Yep. And I say that, I mention that all the time. I'm like, Dave used to tell us all the time on the air, you watch, as soon as they're involved, then they're going to be cool with gambling. And now you're right. The
it's
involvement
even more than cool, though.
It's ridiculous. How about the fact that in Texas, and Brady just mentioned it, in Texas, it looks like the proposal is the licenses will go to the major league owners in the market. Jerry Jones will have a license and partner with a book. I mean, Adam, you've gone off on this in the past.
By the way, one quick thing before I get to Adam.
No, go ahead.
Can you? I mean, the nerve of them saying, "Well, we need to have some kind of an integrity fee."
Oh my God!
An integrity fee, and they're going to do this. Unbelievable.
Yep, the balls, and Adam, it's going to open the floodgates for just conspiracy theorists at every game, especially if it's the Cowboys and the Mavs.
Oh, but I mean, just even yes, that's completely ridiculous. And by the way, like, what about if the Cowboys make some weird play late in the game that they still win, but they don't cover, and everybody's like, wait a minute, where was the action at your owner's book on this game? And like, even if nothing goes wrong, perception is a massive, massive thing. Just like going back to the Golden Knights situation, which like, how about let's just say, for example, let's just assume nothing nefarious happens, but one day whatever this nonsense, I know what their name is. I'm not going to give them publicity right here, but this pick service, like, it puts out a pick against the Golden Knights, right? They're like, take the Avalanche tonight. And the Golden Knights, who don't announce any injury situations, they never announce injury news. There's 2 guys out. Nobody knew about it. Well, the Golden Knights never announced it. It could be completely on the up and up.
Not only that, I mean, just the idea that you partner with a company that at some point is going to make picks against your team.
Of course. But even beyond this, my biggest issue is that, there are legitimate handicappers out there, like Dave, like some others that we could mention, but I won't do it. There's some legitimate people out there that do a lot of work, do a lot of research, and give you good information on games. That is a thing. It's a real thing. A lot of people are like, touts this and whatever. That's not true. There are people that
we can't be tied to an actual franchise.
Right. But not even that, Dave. Like, this is not one of those. Like, look
I don't
at
know
some of the
anything
things-
about them, to be
So
honest.
look at some of the things they do. Like, I tweeted out about some of them tonight, but if you look at their records, like, they're recommending people buy like 3 points on NBA games and lay like 250.
What?
Yeah. This is insanity. It's complete and total insanity.
So in other words, they have no idea what they're doing.
no
Because
clue.
anybody who recommends that is well, that's a way to fatten your record.
Of course it
That's
is.
all
And
it-
by the way, they lose some of them. Of course, because of course you're going to lose some of those.
Sure. Yeah.
But like, why are you giving out those games? And I want to read. I'm trying to find the actual wording on this because I don't want to get it wrong. But if you look at the front page of their site, it's so scummy. It says more than 6,000 clients around the world have changed their perspective and are now making a living off of betting sports. You should not first of all, you're not making a living laying 230 on NBA games. I'll tell you that right now. But you're also this is not what you should be telling people. You should not be telling people they're going to live off this. And this is an explicit endorsement from the Golden Knights. In their press release, they said, "We hope people will go to this service for their sports betting information." Like, you're telling people to go to this site. What the fuck are you doing? So I have a huge problem with
So
all
what
of
happened?
this.
It blew up.
I mean, everybody's fired up about it, but the Golden Knights are just completely, closing ranks and not talking about it. I'm sure, like, my prediction was that this is going to be done by Sunday. Like, I can't imagine.
I wouldn't be shocked if the league steps in on this.
Yeah,
And
for
says,
sure.
You can't. You can't do that.
Because and by the way, to Alex's comment down there, I couldn't even find this group on Twitter. They are not on Twitter. They're not there. They don't have a Twitter account, which tells you a lot right there.
Well, that could mean they don't want to face criticism.
Of course. But so here, like, I think a lot of people have been going after the Golden Knights and crushing them, and I think rightfully so. I think one thing I will say is that this, to me, screams ignorance over greediness, because I think the Golden Knights are.
I agree with that.
I think the Golden Knights are. Listen, I wouldn't be surprised if there's a homeless guy outside the arena, if they kicked him and took the 20 cents from him and collected it before they sent him on his way. Like, they'll take every cent they can. But I don't think that's the case here. I think the case here is somebody in marketing was approached with a deal, and they were like, "Look, this company's offering us money. We're allowed to take sports betting money now. We were the first to partner with a sports book, and now almost every team does it. So now we'll take the next step and we'll go into whatever this aspect is, without having any idea of the lunacy of what they were doing." I don't think they knew in this case. So I'm not going to defend them.
I would agree with
because
that.
I do believe there's definitely a greediness aspect to a lot of what they do, but I don't think that's the case here. I think this is just somebody who had no idea what they were doing, and for whatever reason,
it actually doesn't even fall into the greediness category for me. It just falls into the ignorance category.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think
look,
absolutely.
they could sell lots of sponsorships and probably get even more money. But this is just a really bad idea.
Yeah, terrible on every level, and inexcusable, really. But like I said, I mean, I don't want to kill him too much, because I think it's just more ignorance. But at the same time, like, shouldn't you run this by people?
Well, and here's the other thing. I know we're not the sports betting capital of the world anymore, but we still have an image, and there are some very sharp gambling people in town. On the other side of the counter, don't you think you would consult somebody? I mean, and I'll put it on. Look, the buck stops with the owner. Okay, what? Bill Foley doesn't know anybody in the gaming industry. Honestly, I assume he must know Michael Gaughan. Call Michael, see what he thinks of it. I don't know Michael's answer, but I pretty much speculate on what it would have been. That would be like, no, you might not want to do that.
I haven't seen anybody defend it, and even like yourself, David. You said you're in the industry. You're not even like supportive of like you understand it. So I mean, I haven't seen anybody pro. So here's the other thing. So I will say ignorance is one. Over greediness, I'd say ignorance is the biggest thing. And here's the other thing: arrogance, because this is a franchise that doesn't run anything by anybody, as you're suggesting. They don't care what anybody says. They do whatever the fuck they want. And there's something good about that, but a lot of times there's bad things about that. And here's another just because I always, I'm always looking at a media perspective, and I know the average person necessarily doesn't, and they don't care. But like a lot of times, these deals leak out for a reason before they happen, right?
Yep.
You somebody learns about it and hears about it and puts it out there just to see what the reaction is. And in this case, that didn't happen. They just put it out, and there was no leaks of it at all. And if somebody would have got word that this was coming down and written about it, they probably never would have signed the deal because they would have seen the immediate backlash from it. So I think it's an arrogance and ignorance, and a lot went wrong in announcing this deal. It was a terrible, terrible move.
By the way, in the comment, we're no longer the sports betting capital. We are in a sense that we still offer the best amenities for bettors. Not even close. Las Vegas is still the absolute king, but we're not, it's revenue. Revenue determines the sports betting capital, and there are other places doing more revenue now, like New Jersey. And some other states will be passing us as well, simply because there's more people there.
Not Florida.
Oh my God! Does Florida want to? Did I read right on the 22%?
I think that they just don't understand the word handle. I think that's what happened.
Oh.
I think they use the word handle.
Adam, you misread that, because if you looked at the bottom of the story, it said handle win.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. They don't understand the word handle.
Right. It wasn't the handle itself; it was the hold. But they said handle win.
Hold. Right. They said handle. They meant hold.
They're gonna tax 22% of the hold, which ain't ideal either.
Ludicrous.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous. It's kind of reminds me of the old days in New Jersey when they were trying to get it legalized, but they would make it so bad for the bettors that there's no chance, one, that it would get legalized, or two, that it would have any impact on the illegal books. The illegal books would still be cleaning up. That sounds like what it is in Florida. It's like, well, we don't want to mess with the boys, so let's make it so bad that it can't possibly go through. I not only believe that wasn't an opinion on New Jersey, that was fact.
Oh yeah,
that
over
was
the years,
fact.
Of course. It was just window dressing. They weren't gonna burn the dudes who were running illegal books, the guys with the crooked noses. That wasn't gonna happen. Sorry.
How many of them ran their books out of Monmouth that you serve soup to?
Oh.
Probably a bunch out of Monmouth. I'm sure they were taking illegal bets at Monmouth Park all the time, sports bets. No doubt.
I can tell you the illegal books in New Jersey were monstrous huge.
Wasn't there one with the state police and Janet Jones, right? Was she a gambler or was she the book? Well, she was a gambler, right? She was in massive debt.
I think she bet. But the Jersey books were even bigger than the New York City books.
Fuck, what was I thought the Mets got pinched, like, not the Mets themselves, but there was a guy who worked for the Mets who got pinched.
Yeah, like the clubhouse attendant.
Yeah.
I think the clubhouse attendant was running bets for the players, and
the numbers were crazy.
Yeah.
Clubhouse manager Charlie Samuel was caught on wiretap placing bets. Yeah.
New Jersey was a place where you could get down as much as you wanted on anything, basically. I mean, they take $1 million bets.
Dave, you ready for this one? This was all part of a probe in 2005. It actually involved the head groundskeeper, Dominic Valila. He was one of 36 people charged by the Queens DA participating in a gambling ring that had ties to the Bonanno crime family. The gambling ring was $360 million. Holy shit. That's amazing.
But if you're wondering why New Jersey's doing the revenue they're doing now, that is,
of course,
there are some areas where sports betting is just like a religion.
Yep.
And it's just enormous back there. I can tell you when I was on the personal service end of things.
Yep.
The volume of customer volume back there was incredible.
Dave, what were the biggest bets back then? Like, what were the biggest bets you guys would take? And we're talking 40 years ago.
Me? No, I never took anything that enormous.
Well, how about the strongest bookies?
I don't know. I never really asked.
Yeah, it's a good move. But you're still here.
Well, no, I've always been kind of a mind your own business guy, and so I don't know. It wasn't stuff that was going to impact me, so I kept my nose out of it.
Yep. All right, so a little bit of NFL. Dave, what's your thought on the Seattle stuff with Pete Carroll and Russell Wilson? Is this just a pissing match they'll get past?
I don't know. I think he kind of wants out of there, even though he's saying not necessarily the case. And it might be. Look, the Seahawks might look at it and say, when just looking at it from a football perspective, as Wilson's a great player, no question about that. But is Seattle really close right now to being a Super Bowl contender? I think they're decent, but I think that's about as good as it gets. And they might be in a position where it's like, well, if we can get a haul, a real big haul,
Right.
maybe it's time to make a move here, because I don't think they're going to get better with what they currently have. So
Niners aren't on the list.
No, not on
Plus,
the list.
there's no way they're trading him in the division either.
no, I wouldn't think so. I would think if anything, he'd be going to the AFC.
Right.
I mean, it's going to be a fun few months because there's going to be quarterbacks changing uniform, and you've now got the identified rising superstar prospect in Trey Lance. It's going to be really interesting to see what happens with him as we approach the draft, because he's the guy who's skyrocketing now. And I mean, I'm even hearing, well, could he go 5th overall? I don't know if that's going to happen. I think that might be a little overhyped, but never know when it comes to quarterbacks. Anything can happen. And Trey Lance has become the most interesting aspect of the upcoming draft. And the interesting thing is, I don't think he's ready to play in the NFL. So be curious to see who takes him. I think he's got a chance to be really good, but he's going to take a year. He's going to take a year or two to develop. He's not.
He's not
the perfect passer just yet.
No, but I think Panthers are great to sit behind Bridgewater for a year. If they could convince Bridgewater to stay and play quarterback for a year and let Lance develop behind him, that's where I had him going in my first mock. I think that makes sense.
What position are they?
8th, or I think they're 8th.
Okay. Wouldn't shock me. I mean, it's crazy what's happening though, because he is just shot up the board. And once that starts with a quarterback, it doesn't stop.
Yeah, I mean, there's not a whole lot. Like, the benefit that he has, and I think, we've talked about this before in the draft, the less games you play, the better. Because the more you have on tape, the more they're going to pick you apart. And he hasn't played a whole lot and didn't throw the ball a whole lot. They didn't chuck it all around the place. So,
and he's got one other thing going for him, which is that aside from, well, obviously the top guy, but aside from that, there's already, it's like, and I think Fields is going to be really good. After that, they've all got ceilings. I know, we go nuts with the hype on quarterbacks, but I think the rest of the guys all have ceilings. It could be good, but I don't think there's a great QB out there. And I could be dead wrong about that, but I don't think Wilson's a great quarterback. I don't think Jones is a great quarterback. I can tell you the kid in Florida absolutely isn't a great quarterback. Those guys are all going to get overdrafted. Lance is becoming the guy who, well, he's got a chance to be phenomenal down the road. And so somebody's going to gamble soon, earlier than later on him. I just wonder if you think he could be the third guy that goes overall? Third quarterback?
yeah, because I think Wilson will be second. And I think Lance could go ahead of
Wilson's going to
Fields.
go ahead of Fields?
I think so. And I think the things you're hearing with Fields are very weird because we're going back to just straight racism with quarterbacks. The can't make a read beyond the first read stuff.
Okay, yeah.
And you look at it, he has a higher percentage on second and third reads than Trevor Lawrence does.
Fields is really good. Okay?
So who can't go beyond their first read? Like,
I
it's
thought
ridiculous.
Fields closed. I actually, just my view, my eyes, my eye. I thought Fields closed the gap on Lawrence this year.
So did I.
I still think Lawrence is the top prospect, but I think Fields is legit. He's going to be a star.
Wilson,
After that, I don't know.
Wilson is the, and I think we talked about this with some of the PFF guys. Like, when you watch a game, you pop the tape on, and you're like, every game he has one play where you go, oh, that's Pat Mahomes. But like the rest of the game, you're like, I don't know. But those plays are going to Like those plays are going to like make him be a guy that people want.
This is great. This is great from Brady. Come on, Wilson is gritty and has a high football IQ. Fields is merely athletic. I know he's being sarcastic.
Yeah, I know.
You could probably flip the descriptions.
Yeah,
for both of the guys. Like Wilson might just be merely athletic.
Yeah,
we don't know.
Yeah.
But he's a white, and you don't use athletic for a white.
Fields isn't really athletic, but like people.
I think he's got pretty good feet. He's a pretty decent runner. I'm not saying he's freaking Lamar Jackson.
Yeah. No.
Or Josh Allen.
He's a passer first.
What?
Yeah, he's a passer first, but like nobody processes that. They just see like, oh, black guy, athletic, he runs. Like
Right.
we still are in that mold. Like Teddy Bridgewater, I remember people like, oh, he's a runner. Like he can't run. He's immobile. He's Philip
Jameis. Get Jameis out on the run.
Yeah. Exactly.
There's Jameis is the classic example.
Yep.
Jameis actually is not particularly athletic.
No.
Which has gotten him in a lot of trouble over the years because he can't avoid a sack and he doesn't know what to do.
Yeah, he's strong.
Jameis's problem is he has always tried to be a hero on every play, and it's caused him to commit way too many turnovers.
Yeah.
Hopefully, he's learned something being in New Orleans and having Breeze there because Jameis has got a ton of talent, and I think in a lot of ways he was handled poorly. Now, part of that's on him,
Right.
but quarterbacks can still get good even after they've reached a certain age. And I still think there's a chance Winston could be, because the guy's a hell of a passer. I still think there's a chance he could become a really good quarterback.
He's second all time in yards after 5 years. Now he's played a sixth and he didn't have any yards this year, but
Right.
Through 5 years of his career, he's second all time in passing yards.
What do you think of Cameron Jordan sort of saying that he thinks Peyton said that Winston is the guy for the Saints, not Hill? It was a weird quote. Cameron Jordan on the Saints talked about it. It was like, you sure you heard that right? Or
I think they're both going to get used.
Yeah.
I don't think Peyton regards Hill as a real true starting quarterback. He's not an every down back. And I don't think he's going to be. He is unique, to put it mildly. You talk about a guy who's athletic. Jeez.
It would be great if they just brought Winston in for passing downs. Just
here's the thing though. If are the Saints going to actually pay him, or is anyone else going to compete for Winston? I mean, he's an unrestricted free agent. I mean, he's not staying around. Well, first of all, if I was Winston, I'm like, well, fuck this, man. If Taysom Hill's making 8, I'm not making 8. I'm making more. Like, I'm not staying for $2 million. There's got to be a market for him, right? This year?
Oh, yeah. I mean, there's teams out there who could definitely use him.
Yeah. Thought that last year, though.
The thing that works against him, and it does work against him, is the fact that he leaves Tampa Bay and Old Man River comes in there and they go to the Super Bowl and win it. That's not going to help him.
True.
Let me go back to one more point on. Wrong one. On Russell Wilson. Where's Pickles' comment? Why would Wilson want to come to Las Vegas and face Mahomes and Herbert twice a year? Adam, what did you think about what Vic Tafer wrote about Gruden? He tweeted it out, and I kind of cut down what he wrote. But Gruden was mocked for saying in the past, that Vegas was going to be a cool place to come to. Players around the league think Gruden is cool and would like to play for him in Vegas.
Yeah, I think that's an overly generous statement about Gruden. I think there is some truth to it for sure.
Yeah,
but I think players would come to play for me if I was coaching the Raiders in Las Vegas. Like, it's an iconic franchise in the coolest city in the world with no state income tax. Like, there's a reason. There's a reason the Raiders are a draw now.
I question I question your objectivity a bit because you're close to Gruden and you see how the whole thing has worked here. I still believe John Gruden, because of his announcing deal and the big personality when he was coaching, actually is viewed by players as a cool guy.
So do I.
No, I think there's a part of that, but like if Gruden was coaching, I was just trying to think of like the worst. If Gruden's coaching the Lions, you wouldn't have guys like, I really want to go play for the Lions now. Like it's the fact that he's
part of Vegas.
Well,
the
yeah,
Raiders in Vegas and everything.
It's a combination, yeah,
for sure. I think that's absolutely true, and it has made them. That's what I said. Like when when Russell Wilson put out the list, I mean, I was literally in the middle of recording a podcast. And we had to stop and like, okay, let's focus on talking about this now. When he put out the list, I said, I don't necessarily think he's coming to Las Vegas. Like, I don't think that's going to happen. But Raiders fans should be thrilled anyway that all these players now are like, hey, I want to go play for Las Vegas eventually. Yep. Whether they're a free agent or they're forcing a trade or whatever it is, like, it's such an appealing place. People should be excited about that part of it. So yeah, I think that's where the fans should be like, hey, even if you don't get Russell Wilson, at least you are a franchise that is going to be circled for every player that's a free agent, everybody that's available. Like, hey, maybe I'll go to Vegas. Even JJ Watt has a list, and apparently, according to John Clayton, Vegas isn't on it, but Vegas is the kind of the alternate location.
Well,
like they're always going to be included.
If we ever get an NBA franchise, it won't take long for the Vegas, whatever they are, NBA franchise to become a major player in the league.
Oh my God.
I mean, like 2 years?
Less.
They'll be immediate contenders.
I mean, if they announced the Grizzlies tomorrow or moving here in 4 years, everybody would start signing with the Grizzlies now.
Yeah.
Try to be a part of it. Yeah. It's going to be immediate when they're here. So I mean,
which is why the NBA ought to make that move really quickly. Why not?
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah.
I mean, it's good. It's good for their league.
Of course, it is great. And when we've seen it, it's there's different reasonings, but we've seen it with the Golden Knights too. Like, how many guys have we seen? Like, hey, I want to go play in Vegas. Like, the organization has been really good to the players and top-notch facilities, and the crowds are great, and all this other stuff. But it's like, hey, Vegas is a great place to just go live.
Yeah, because the proof of that is that in most cities, guys go home after the season.
Yeah,
they stay here. Most of the players stay here. It's like it's pretty good here.
Yeah, not a bad place to live for an athlete, especially.
Oh, great perks, no tax. I mean, it's paradise.
First Big Five super team. Yeah, that's what it would. They would have like 11 All-Stars on the Vegas NBA team. It would be the dream team again. That's exactly what's said there. Yeah.
Oh, and just thinking about, and I'm not even an NBA fan, but the Lakers Las Vegas rivalry, that'd be awesome. I mean, that'd be sensational.
Oh, it'd be great. It would be better than Lakers Clippers, that's for sure.
Oh yeah, I'll guarantee you that. Yeah.
Nobody cares about that one. I would love that. Donovan Mitchell, just happy as a clam, averaging 3 minutes a game. It'd be perfect. I mean, I would, and I don't think it's crazy. I think it's going to happen.
Oh, I do too.
Yeah,
there's just too much money out there for it not to happen.
Yeah,
because now Las Vegas has proven they can support major league franchises, and quite honestly, it's still. I know UNLV's fallen off the map, but this was a basketball town for a long, long time, and it can be again.
And yeah, it's almost certain that they were playing T-Mobile. Now, interesting that with the T-Mobile and MGM connection, the MGM has gotten out of the WNBA business because all signs pointed to MGM owning a WNBA team in order to get in the good graces of the NBA and then get an NBA team to move it here into T-Mobile. T-Mobile was built for NBA, by the way. Like it was. We see basketball there all the time. It's great. I love that arena for basketball. Pac-12 tournament is awesome over there, although MGM is even better. But yeah, I think it would almost certainly go there, except for this weird, getting rid of the WNBA team is kind of a speed bump to that maybe. But it was built for an expansion to NBA and NHL, so that's already ready to go.
If they want their own building, somebody, one of the hotels would actually, I think, step up and say, "Okay, we'll build one for you."
Yep.
Sure.
It wouldn't be like the football thing where we'd have to construct the. We had to construct a football stadium. That wouldn't happen. That wouldn't happen in basketball. Somebody would privately fund an arena.
When's the last time either one of you guys drove by this that Sphere thing?
Rarely.
What Sphere thing?
The MGM, the MSG Sphere. It's right behind the Venetian.
They're building. It's like
a strip in so long.
Yeah, it's a giant globe, Dave. That's behind the Venetian, like just across Koval. And it's been slow. It's been a slow build because they basically stopped building during the pandemic. But I drive by it at least once a week when I'm going over to Silver Sevens for the show. And it's good. The actual structure of it is kind of coming together. It's interesting looking. It's supposed to be just for the concert venue, performance arts theater. It's not supposed to be for sports, but my guess is they will try sports at some point. Like they'll try if it's, I don't even know the design. Does anyone know the design? Is the stage in the middle of the sphere, or is there a stage on one side of the sphere? Like I could see them trying something.
I think it's going to be adaptable. Can you grab a photo of it to show Dave?
I don't know if I can share.
The only way I'll ever see it.
I don't know if I can.
You'll never see it, but it's cool for those that I know. There's some people here that are not in this town.
Yeah.
There are so many arenas in this town. It's crazy.
Ridiculous.
And it's in full effect next week. That's when like the country gets to kind of see it, because we are here right now at Thomas and Mack Center, where the Mountain West basketball tournament will be. Just down the street, T-Mobile Arena and the MGM Grand Garden are on the same corner. And they have tournaments there as well. T-Mobile have the Pac-12, so you'll be watching that. And then another mile down the same street, so within 2 miles of each other, another venue at the Orleans Arena where the Golden Knights minor league team plays right now. They're getting an arena built out in Henderson, but also the West Coast Conference and the Big West Tournament are there. So like it is insane. And there's not even a tournament at the MGM. So it's insane.
Which is weird because
wait, hold on. He said it's a big corner.
Grand Garden's such a good venue for basketball.
Like the MGM and T-Mobile are both at the corner of Trop and Las Vegas Boulevard. Like it's Pickle Gamer saying it's a big corner. It is. That's the same corner.
We could literally have every conference in the country playing here at the same time.
Yeah, I mean you don't even roll in. You don't even roll in Mandalay Bay, which is just around the corner from there.
South Point had basketball.
Yeah, they have an arena down there too. Some of the really small venues can play there. I mean, it's insane how many arenas that we have here now. That
they're all pretty good to watch basketball in, by the way.
Yeah, really good. As I said, like MGM,
Orleans is good for hockey and basketball. It's a terrific. It's not a big arena, but it's really nice.
Yeah, and the Golden Knights, or excuse me, the Silver Knights now are going to have their own arena in Henderson. Yeah. They already have their practice facility out there, which is really cool. So I mean, there's just so many venues here, and then the Sphere is just going to add another one. And I'm sure as you said, maybe they'll build an NBA arena too. So then we'll have even another arena.
I think they will. I mean, I'm obviously T-Mobile could house it, but they've already got the hockey team and a lot of other stuff. And I have a suspicion that whatever NBA team ends up here, going to want their own arena. So somebody will build it for them.
Yeah, they play at T-Mobile at first, I'm sure, and then let's see. Sheehan.
Is anything ever? I really don't go to the Strip at all. Has anything gone up where the Stardust was?
Dave, yes.
Come on, Dave.
No,
he really doesn't. Yeah, he's not lying.
I never go to the Strip. When I go to the Strip, I just shoot. It's only to go to Joe's basically.
Yeah.
And I just shoot down Spring Mountain and take a right. So I don't even know what's going on down by the Stardust.
By the way, to answer the question real quick, yeah, Big West Tournament did move to Mandalay Bay. It's not at Orleans anymore. So, down the street. Thanks, Jim.
Dave, they built the place is called Resorts World. It's now partnered with Hilton. It's probably 4,000 rooms. It's another one of those tri buildings.
Okay.
And they're gonna have it's a Asian company. They're gonna have a giant, supposedly giant like Asian gardens out front.
Oh,
but
good.
it's massive. And actually today, like I said, I drove down LV Boulevard because I was trying to avoid traffic, and then just drove into more traffic. So it's supposed to open, I think, fall of this year. That Virgin, the Hard Rock, is supposed to open on March 25th.
That I'm aware of. Yeah.
That's on March 25th. So
big news from them today.
Yeah, what's that?
Free parking and no resort fee.
Oh, good.
Good. That's smart.
Yeah, I know. It's great. It's very exciting news. I'm all in.
Which one's opening in May? Resorts World? Okay.
Park there. See, now that I do get down there once in a while because Ferraro's is right there, and Ferraro's is just a fabulous place, and I'm glad they're open again.
Okay. Also, right by Naked City there, Dave. The great pizza and wing spot.
Yes, and Shaq's place.
Fuck that place. Wait, they're not a
Why?
sponsor, are they? I went one
I
time.
like their chicken fingers.
Oh, I went one time to try it. It wasn't cooked all the way, and I was like, I'm out.
Really?
Never,
Oh, that's
never coming
disappointing.
again.
No, I
Really?
liked
Yeah,
it.
yeah, never
I
coming
liked
again.
it, and I really like the draft soda.
Oh, yes.
They,
All
yeah,
in,
what's
all
their
in on
what,
that.
what's, don't they have like a special? What's the special brand that they have?
What big? Oh, the soda.
Yeah, it's something unique.
Yeah, it's
It is
really
good,
good
though.
though. It's really
Yeah.
good.
I forget, but it was when we were still using the NBC why am I blanking on the educational network?
PBS.
Yeah, well, we're using the PBS studio to do TV filming. We don't do that anymore, but that was a regular stop after taping. It's like, well, let's head over to Big Chicken and get some wings or strips or whatever.
Yeah, I've heard people
Well,
that
good.
like it. I just the one
Yeah,
bad experience
I liked it.
turned me off.
Still lots of good there's still loads of good restaurants over there.
By the way, cool thing about Resorts World, there's a lot of cool stuff that's going to be there, Dave. But if you do get to see it, like the screens on the outside are insane. Like
I'll
it's
see it
like,
at some point.
Oh, they're
But
crazy.
it just I shouldn't say that because I've still never been to Top Golf.
I was literally,
I'm like the
literally,
only person in Las Vegas who's not been to Top Golf.
I was literally there Wednesday night. It's awesome.
Yeah, Adam goes more than anyone.
Last time Dave was on the strip, it was a remote with Cofield in 2010. You're close. Well, I don't have any interest in the casinos. I just don't. I don't need to go to make sports bets. I've been doing that online for a long time now, and and I'm not a show person.
Well, especially, oh boy, that's good. Especially during the pandemic, which is, it's insane. But like I've been kind of flexing on the immunity a little bit, as I've been saying. Like I'm immune now, so it's cool. Like I don't mind going out a little bit more. But I was downtown last week. I had some relatives in town. My God, I changed my mind real quick. It was pre-pandemic nonsense.
Yeah.
As we like to call it, the demilitarized zone between Fremont East and the Experience. There was like 1 million people there. I had to get out, even though I'm immune now. I'm like, I'm out. How many more days? It's up pretty soon. But I'll be getting vaccinated like right after that. I'm eligible.
How are you?
I'm still waiting for mine.
Wait.
Not eligible yet.
What? Yes, you are. Over
No,
65.
No, it's 70.
No, 65.
No, it's 65.
Oh, 65? When did
Yep.
it change?
Monday.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, good. Then I'll call Walgreens and find out when I can go down
Wait,
there
are
and
you
get it.
going to do it? Or you're not going to wait to Johnson & Johnson?
Well, Johnson & Johnson's been approved, but I don't care at this point. Pfizer, from what I'm hearing, is fine. No side effects to speak of, and I mean, I like the idea of one shot rather than two.
It's less effective though.
Uh-oh. Here we go.
I don't know about it becomes a matter of a few percentage points. Yeah, okay. It's a little less effective, but it either works or it doesn't. And if it got approved, then it works. Okay.
Yeah, I got my I literally, as soon as they said it was going to drop to 65, I got my mom her first appointment, so I was very excited about that. Yeah. Very sore arm. Really, I've heard it from a couple people. My mom was dealing with like her arm has just been sore for a couple days now, but it's worth
a couple of Tylenol.
Yeah, it's worth it. That's exactly right. It's definitely worth it. So I'm very excited. She got her first one. I already got the second one scheduled. So, yeah, you have to keep updating and refreshing the site, but you should get an appointment.
Oh, no, I will. I thought I just had, I get my own little world here with sports and sometimes don't pay attention to the news, especially since I don't watch the news anymore. It's not news, so I don't watch it, regardless of the network. So I was unaware that it had been lowered to 65. Cool.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Adam, how are you qualified?
I'm media qualified. So you are too.
Wait, what?
Media's qualified. Media's
really?
Yep.
Really?
Yep.
Oh, I shouldn't have stopped doing radio.
Well, now you're qualified anyway. You're good.
I'm not media anymore.
Are people going to be mad that you jumped the line, Adam?
I haven't though. I haven't got it yet.
Well, as media though.
Be mad at I thought he was still here. He just left. We're very important, Pickle. Grimalo was just sitting next to me. He just had a second shot.
What?
Oh.
Yeah. He's like 25.
I know.
Nice, not.
Media. Media, bro.
Well, it's essential. You guys are essential.
Who is qualified media though?
I think it said radio, television, newspaper.
I could, I still get mailed media credential requests, so maybe I technically am still media. Who would know? Don't tell anybody.
Yeah.
AJ, weren't you the one who was busting? Who was busting on Justin Watkins about 2 weeks ago, like relentlessly? Was it AJ? Because there was a notion that lawyers might be able to get the vaccine before it dropped down to 65. No, it wasn't you. God, someone was just hammering Justin. It was like, dude, like there is a reason for some attorneys to be qualified if they have to go deal with senior citizen clients, especially those who were staying in nursing homes. Like if they need representation, you got to be able to get them in there. So,
listen, if people, if somebody, gets stuck with something, they don't have a will, they need to contact a lawyer. The lawyer's got to come see him.
Yeah, lawyers absolutely should be part of it. Yeah,
I agree with Pickle.
Well,
I don't think Adam should be able to
everybody
get it.
should be part of it. That's the main thing is, let's pick up the pace a little bit and get this thing out there.
The numbers
everybody can
numbers
get.
been really good the last couple of weeks.
Yes, it's improving.
Yeah. We're getting there.
Because I want to see, let's obviously there's going to be some people who won't get it because they're stupid. That's the right word, by the way. But hopefully by the end of the summer, we're going to have most of the country inoculated and we can get back to normal.
There is, I think you guys had a story about it in the RJ today, Adam, or I think it was, where they're not really doing ID checks either.
I think that's definitely the case. And by the way, some locations are much more stringent than others.
So I stay away.
I'm not. Well, I don't think I should say because I don't know. It's just secondhand information from people that have been there, so I don't want to necessarily go out with it. But several people have told me that certain spots they just take whoever's there, which it is complicated for them because if you do get an appointment and you show up and they turn you away, like that dose is kind of wasted.
Right.
Mm-hmm. So like unless they can find other people on standby, I know some of the drugstores are doing it where at the end of the day, and I think Justin talked about this on the show, like they have a certain amount of appointments, and once they give them at the end of the day, they just start finding people to give them to.
Right.
Because they're useless. Like, why would you let it go away?
Right.
Yeah, I've heard that a bunch of times that if you go at the end of the day, you might get lucky.
Yeah. And so, and like, I think with people, I know people are getting frustrated. And I get the frustration that you have, but like, you also have to think about it. Like, listen, I'm not advocating that media should be getting vaccinated. I think it's ridiculous. In fact, I said before, I did have an appointment at the beginning because they said media was on the list. And then I found out that, it wasn't necessarily the case. And I actually was like, you know what, I'm canceling it. I'm turning it over to somebody else, letting somebody else have it. Because I was like, yeah, this is kind of silly, but we are starting to get to a point where people that are 65 and older now are getting it. Like we're getting to a point. I said the date. I think it was like mid-April. I think it's April 22nd, where they think there's going to be more supply than demand.
Good.
Like it's not like we're jumping that far ahead, and it's like what 200 people here qualify for it. I don't think I don't think media getting it. And again, I'm not defending media getting it, but like media getting it is not what's keeping people from getting vaccinated. Like that's not the biggest issue. It's definitely supply chains for one that were hindered by the storms. It's a lack of a plan because it not to make it political, but it is. The Biden, there was a story yesterday, and they're not like nobody's coming out and like screaming this, but the Biden administration, when they came in, they said, okay, we expect that the Trump administration had a really bad plan that we're gonna have to fix. What they didn't expect was that there was no plan.
No plan. Yeah.
And they were like, what the fuck?
There wasn't.
Yeah. So they said we came in because if you remember, the Trump transition team wouldn't share their plan because they expected to still be running the country, which is completely fucking ridiculous. But they didn't share anything. So the Biden team was like, okay, whatever this plan is, it's going to be bad. We're going to have to work on it. We're going to have to fix it. And they got in there like, well, where's the plan? There isn't one. So like, okay. So they kind of started from scratch, but they're doing a lot better now. So like those are the things that are hindering people getting it. It's not, I know people are like, but this person got it. That's ridiculous. Well, like a person here, 100 people here is not going to be what's going to affect it. So, yeah. Does Ari qualify?
Hold on. Brady said NFL media gets it, UFC media doesn't. Do you go in, Adam, and say you cover the Raiders, or do you say you cover UFC and get turned away?
Can I tell you this was actually not the vaccination part, but the NFL media being way higher than UFC media was a big topic at the press conference.
Explain it, Dave, before you finish the story. Dave, there was what was it last year?
It was in Jacksonville in May.
Okay, in May. So Dana White's always taking shots at UFC media, MMA media, and he actually did like a ranking system, and he was saying like, hey, NFL media is up here, then it's what NBA media, MLB, and then he goes way down here for MMA media. And it's been a running joke on the show because Adam's everything, but now Adam's legit because he's NFL media. If he was just MMA media, then he'd be shit. So wait, what was the discussion, Adam?
Well, there's been a couple of pretty good interactions with me and fighters the last couple of weeks now that we're doing like live interviews again. And somebody was like, man, you've really been getting a lot of good stuff out of the fighters lately. And I was like, yeah, NFL media, bro. Like it's and so
that's funny.
It just became a really everybody was just talking about it this week again, and we were playing the clip and just laughing, and the PR staff was like, oh god, like having nightmares. Yep. But they were in on the joke too, so it was pretty fun.
Nice.
Yeah, it was great.
That's accurate.
Yeah. Well. Yeah. If Chick-fil-A hustled this thing through.
Yeah.
By the way, I hesitate to tell the story because I'm into the whole big chicken fight. I'm into all the new chicken sandwiches. I had a break after Cofield and Company. I had an hour and a half to kill, and I hadn't eaten. So I was like, oh, let me go get something to eat. And I was going to go to Jack in the Box where they have the best chicken fingers in all of fast food. Adam mocks on me for that. And all of a sudden I was like, oh shit, there's a Popeyes right there on Trop in Maryland. I got a chicken sandwich from Popeyes, and I neglected to do the one thing I always do. I didn't say no mayo, and my fucking God, whoever made the sandwich loved mayo. I can take a little bit. Dave, it was like every bite was like literally like a dollop of mayo. I'm like, come on. Like I never get these chicken sandwiches, or try not to get them every day because I'd be 500 pounds and slathered in mayo. Dave, son of a bitch.
I don't do much on the chicken sandwiches. I go for lobster rolls.
You're very fancy. Where can you get lobster rolls here?
Oh, you got Luke's Honey Salt. Honey Salt's got an excellent lobster roll.
Oh wow, nice.
Mastriani's is a fabulous lobster roll.
Oh, they do?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there anything bad at Honey Salt? That place is awesome.
Honey Salt's very good.
Yeah.
Their mac and cheese. Oh, is it good?
That's an endorsement.
It's really good.
It's almost as good as the mac and cheese at Carson Kitchen, but not quite.
I don't know Carson Kitchen.
Oh, it's my number one spot in town.
Not Canes on what? I'm not doing this fight again on Canes and which one? I like Canes. It's good.
Yeah. I like
Hey
Canes
Dave.
too.
Hey Dave, you want to fill in AJ why you said enough with radio?
Because I don't want to work 90 hours a fucking week anymore.
Yep.
Try working with Steve.
I don't need the money. There's a lot of prep if you're going to do it well. And believe me, the last few months that I was on with Steve, he can tell you, and this is no lie, I just wasn't prepping. I'd gotten tired of it. I was on the air for 35 years straight, almost every day. I got tired of it.
You, you also said that the time was cutting into your handicapping. Like that's your bread and butter, not the nonsense on radio.
That too. But I could still find the time to do it, but it's just a lot easier this way.
Yeah.
A lot easier. No, at some point your body tells you, you know what? You don't need to be working this much.
Nice.
And I feel better, to be quite honest. I was getting exhausted.
Yeah.
Mentally and physically.
Adam, what was your joke? Try working with me.
Yeah. I mean, how long do you work on? Like 10 years? Like you can't take that any longer.
That's a good point. Yeah, the breakup has to happen in radio at some point.
Fine. Steve's the best prep guy I've ever worked with.
Yeah,
absolutely. And I'm talking. No, that's not smoke. I mean, he is incredibly well prepared. So if you're going to be working with Steve, you have to do at least close to an equal amount of preparation. And I stopped wanting to do that.
Yeah.
A good 6 months, maybe a year, before it was agreed that it was time to say goodbye. And after that, I just did the Las Vegas Sports Line.
Yep.
And then when the pandemic hit, we lost our sponsors, obviously, and it was like, you know what?
Screw it.
I don't want to do that anymore either. So enough. So now
And
I do the vids for Wager Talk. I just come over to my desk where I am right now.
Yep.
And the rest of the time, I can do whatever I want, which is nothing right now. But it's sure going to make vacations easier because when things open up again, you'll be seeing a lot of me in San Diego, down at Del Mar.
Yep.
What about? I literally just got a text, Dave. The tickets are on sale, and I'm gonna look for them after
Padres?
the show. Well, almost. U.S. Open at Torrey Pines. Tickets on sale. And
I've never been a golf in person guy.
but the Padres are in town that week. So
No, I don't care about the golf though. I want to be there. I'm hoping the Padres are in town when Del Mar's in town.
that's true. What is it? June 17th, I think, is the Padres with the Torrey Pines that week, which will be great.
Oh, that'll be fun.
Yeah.
Hey, Dave, I was going to say the real quick, the other thing on you doing radio, people have to understand that Dave, dude, you never took off either.
No.
Like you never went on vacation. We do like 260 shows a year in an average year, something like that. And we did shows together for like 4 or 5 years. You probably did over 1,000 shows. And I swear to God, I don't think you took more than 7 days off.
I'd take 1 week. All-Star week. All-Star
I
week.
don't even remember you taking a week a year. Maybe you did, but you were always there. So that's also the thing.
If you got a job, show up.
Ooh, look at Dave. I like it.
Besides which, I mean, if you got a job, show up.
Yeah. Well, the flip side of that is, and I've learned over time, though, at a lot of places, the one thing they do give you, they have to give you is vacation time, and you should take every single freaking day you can.
Sure.
Not abuse it.
Yeah.
Like, don't be Adam Hill, who, I mean, I think Adam, you've had multiple times where you've just had like, you had so many extra days, they just lopped off 20 days and they just disappeared forever and you never used them. So,
Oh yeah, that's my thing.
you're an idiot. Yeah, it's your thing. Yeah, that's real smart.
What are you gonna do?
Well, take time off. That's what you got to do. All right, Dave, we'll cut it off a little bit early tonight. I appreciate you doing it.
Just for Mr. G, what happens
do
if
it.
you don't want to get the vax and accounting and your natural antibodies to take over? Get the goddamn vaccination, all right? Just shut up and get it.
Oh, wow.
Jesus. This country, we have been the absolute worst, the absolute runaway worst in the world when it comes to adhering to, there shouldn't even be mandates, just adhering to common sense. Jesus. Wear the mask and get the vaccination and shut up.
This sounds like me last night. This was my rant last night. I just ignored somebody today because I got a text from a friend of mine who's been complaining about things not being open, and he heard there was a place that had some bars open, so he actually went there tonight. He flew.
Really?
And then he got there, and it was mask required. And he's texting me like, "Can you believe this shit?" And I'm like, "Yes, I can. I can believe it. Like that's supposed to happen. Like what the fuck are you talking about?" But he's like, just make it open, and I'll be responsible. I can take care of myself. Oh, they're making me wear a mask. Like, yeah, you wanted it open, right? So the alternative is close it. So that's your choices. Jesus fucking Christ, man. It doesn't end with these people.
I love this. Cofield rubbed off on Dave. No, he did. He did Mount Cokin all the time. And Adam, I didn't rub off on Adam. Adam melts down. It's not me.
And that really is disgusting phrasing.
Yeah. That is.
So
Yeah.
don't.
Thanks, Dave.
Use some other words. Jesus. Oh, what a visual.
It's not the case. Dave's got an explosive personality too. So when he breaks, he breaks. Like that one. That was awesome. All right, guys. Thanks for doing it. Adam's like a few hundred feet from me up in the stands, and I'm on the floor. So, Dave, thank you. Have a good weekend, everybody. And we're back on Monday with the Smarter Than You podcast, and we will have an announcement. I saw that there's a new thing that apparently Twitter is going to start doing. They have super follows. So we'll give you the opportunity to start buying. We're gonna have exclusive followers. You have to start. You're gonna have to buy to watch this. So we'll have 3 people up here paying a quarter a night. So the super follow, yeah, right away. Look at Truth from Duluth, not paying. I know. It's not gonna happen.
I mean, yeah.
Yes.
Dude, Brady, hold on to answer Brady. We started on time this week.
Yeah,
we were on time.
Tell them why you started on time, because there was one thing that I think made it easier for you that delays you every week.
You made the tweet?
Yeah, well, I wrote up. I did all the descriptions, and I think that takes you guys like 5 minutes because you get there.
No, we had to start it over because it was too long.
Oh, you can just change it.
Yeah, so we started all over and had to redo it. We intentionally started early this week because we were like, "Fuck everybody."
You're getting so much shit about starting at 10:37.
Yes.
Right.
It's not a being late issue; it's a setup issue.
Yeah, I'll set it up better this week. All right, see you guys.
Good to see you, Dave.
Win some money.